talking about online dating recently, and like even just getting the influx of like, people sliding in the DMs. Personally, I don't love the DMs. Like, I feel like it's a lot of times it's just people reaching out to you and you might not necessarily like invite them.
When it comes to my DM, it it goes down in there, and a lot of that attention, to be honest, is very much unwanted because I like to get to know people in real life. Anybody that I've dated, I met them in person in real life. We may have started to follow each other on social media after meeting, but um, I don't really just date or want to be pursued by someone who's just on my social media because you don't know me and I don't know you. If you comment on a picture or a post or something, and I say thank you or put a smiley face, that is not an open invitation to start a conversation with me. And a lot of guys, I know these days, it's okay. Well, they think it's okay to slide into the DMs, but you have to be careful of that. Like, just because a person says thank you or a smiley face or something, like, I'm just trying not to be rude, but at the same time, certain people that have slid into my DMs, I either have blocked, removed them from following me, or I just don't say anything. And it's weird because it'll be the same people just keep coming trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, man, get the picture. But I was told by a man that you're not supposed to say anything back at all. Like, if you don't want to talk to them, don't say nothing back, because if you say thank you or a smiley face, that's opening some type of conversation. Now, I have also, said thank you or, maybe like a couple extra words. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. To see if they would say anything else, maybe just to test it. But I'm real leery about online dating or talking to someone that I don't know, because I just like to actually know a person, versus meeting them online. And I've tried online dating, and it was definitely not for me, because I started to get kind of weird because I didn't know the person, and they really didn't know me. And then when it was time to go on an actual date, I was like, ooh, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it, and just kind of like deleted them and blocked them. So it's really to each his own, because I've heard success stories from online dating, and I know success stories from online dating, which is really cool. But me personally, I'm just it's a no for me, dog. It is. It really is. What about you? Have you had a success story? Have you had a successful slide into the DM, or do you slide into DM as a woman? Would you slide into a man's DM if you're trying to pursue?
Will I slide in the DM? Yes. I probably say something that's, like a little bit of a conversation starter, just to kind of see where it is. But I also tend to ask them like if they're available, because if not, then what's the point? Don't get me wrong. Now, the right person slides in my DM, I don't know, I might be a little bit open. But the only reason why I'm not like a huge fan of sliding in the DMs is because I feel like sometimes when men slide in the DM, they always slide in coming off like automatically there's supposed to be like a response or a reciprocation or whatever. And I feel like back in the day, like when people would slide in my DMs, they would be like, hey, hello, how you doing? How's your day? I would always feel like, oh, you have to respond because they're being courteous, nice, whatever. But I noticed, like, as you just say like hello or I'm great, how are you? It's like an open invitation. Like, you can't even say hi to somebody without them thinking that there's a greater interest there. And the irony of that is I don't feel like they ever start off with like, are you in a relationship? Are you married? They don't even know what your preferences are. They don't even know if you're available. And it's like, and they don't even bother to ask. So I'm like, before you start engaging in conversation, I would think that you would at least like ask some preliminary questions to find out like, hey, are you talking to somebody that's even one interested in you, or are they even available to you? Although I'm not a fan of online dating, I feel like I definitely met somebody that I was completely head over heels for online. about you?
So to touch on what you said about, the conversation starters, how they begin the conversation, how they, um, will come off real strong, when they're first starting to talk to you. I think in this day and age and in this climate, people do not care if you are single or not. Let me not say everyone, and make it seem like no one cares, because some people, they do, they will ask, hey, you single or whatever. But a majority of people these days, they do not care, because I really feel like we are in a society where people don't look at cheating or, like side chick, side man, whatever, like they used to. So I know, in my own experience, when someone has slid into my DM and they're talking to me, and I tell them like, no, thank you, I have a man, or I'm not available. Oh, you can't have friends? No, I cannot, and I don't want to. But people, I don't think people too much care about that these days. Like, and that's very much apparent. So, that kind of leads to our next topic. And I think that's a big conversation, but we'll make sure to elaborate more on that topic. Take us into our next subject so we can kind of touch on that and see maybe what our followers think.
We had a discussion about like, essentially what it's like to go from the thought of, sliding into DMs or, exchanging with somebody online to like what it feels like to kind of like start falling for the person that you're interested in or you're talking to. So, I was interested to hear your thoughts about love at first sight, or like getting into those spaces where maybe you have like an instantaneous connection with somebody, or you just like met somebody and it's just like an instant chemistry, instant connection, and like right away that you guys are going to pursue a relationship.
I for sure have. I'm really big on energy, and I do think that love at first sight is it's real. Um, I've had my own experience, and I've talked to a lot of people about it, to see, what they think, if they're big on energy and they can feel it. But I think when you see someone, and no matter what may be the reason you're attracted to them, you really can feel someone's energy. And if it's off, about a person, I think you can feel that. But when someone has just such magnetic energy, they're just kind of like oozing with confidence. You like what you see, of course. Something about them does attract you, and even the way a person smells, that can be intoxicating. So it really can just blow your mind, meeting someone. And say you did meet that person online, and it's time for that first hookup. Those could be all, reasons why you would be head over heels for the person or fall for them. I really think that the energy is a big part of it, though, and confidence, because someone with bad energy, you can kind of sense that, and it'll make you feel away. But someone who has just really positive energy, they carry themselves well. And again, like I said, they smell good. That's something that's going to really blow your mind and have you wanting to talk to that person more, get to know them and everything. But just like, the shows that we see, when people meet, or they try relationships and they don't really know each other that well, it's possible, to fall in love just by, meeting someone for that first time. It's only happened to me once. So I would hope that, I don't have to deal with that again, because it was a lot. It was like overwhelming at times. It was like you were trying to figure out how to even handle it. So when it comes to connections and, dating, Do you think that there can be instant connections, or for you, is it something that takes some time to build when you're dealing with someone? You have to, be around them more and more, or can you sense a real strong connection, like maybe within the first couple minutes of meeting someone?
I've never actually had like love at first sight, but I've been in a relationship with someone who told me that he experienced that when he met me. He said that the first time that he laid eyes on me, like he knew that we were like gonna be together. Like he was like, I knew instantly, like I could feel it. And so it was interesting because like, we got together and we were in a relationship. I haven't experienced love at first sight, but I can tell you that I've had like instant chemistry where like I was so incredibly attracted to somebody, not just attracted to how they look physically, but like, or even how they smell, but just like completely attracted to somebody where I feel like I can feel their energy. One of the times that I experienced that, we never actually like we dated, but we never actually got like beyond like the initial dating phases. But I remember we were out at this venue and I spotted him from across the room and he spotted me from across the room. You said this on an earlier episode, but like it was literally like we were like the only two people in the room. And it reminds me of that scene in Two Can Play That Game with Vivica and Morris, like everybody in the room just disappeared. Basically, when he and I saw each other, it was like we locked eyes, and next thing you know, he made his way across the room. He like walked past me and like whispered something in my ear. And when I tell you, it was like heat blew past me. Like I smelled his cologne and I felt his breath on my neck, and it was just like a wave of heat came over me, and my heart started racing fast, and I was like, and every time I saw him after that, I used to have to like contain myself and be like, I can't let him know that like I'm feeling this way about him, right? Oh God, he probably will watch this video and know this is about him. But that was like a really interesting experience. And I've like encountered that twice in my life. Once when I was like really, really young, and then this particular time where I just like saw somebody and immediately there was like this connection, and in both instances we dated.
So basically he hit you with that love potion number 9. Because you remember in the movie, all he did was just a quick little whisper, and it was on. Like I had told you, before, I had my movie scene moment where, it was that love at first sight, and it was the same thing. We were at an event. I had walked in, I had never seen him. Was just walking in, seeing what was there. I remember, when I came in the door, couple people, tried to stop me here and there. And I was just, moving through the party with my friends. And I got to the other side of the event and I saw this guy, and I'm looking, and it just seemed like everybody moved out the way, and it was like a beeline for him. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I got to have that. That's true. So as I'm walking closer to him, he's looking at me too. And it's like at that point, in the movies when you just glide, when they just glide across the floor, that's what it felt like. I don't even know if I had picked up on his energy yet, or maybe I really can't say what made me even look that way. Maybe I felt his energy, because when I did, start making my way that way, he had clocked me too. So again, like I said, I am big on energy, so it could have been that for sure. Because I can't even explain, what it was really, but it was really cute at first, and it did blossom into a relationship. So, the love at first sight, and maybe the sliding in the DMs, could work. Now that I do know him, if he would have, slid in my DMs or something like that, I don't even know if we would have talked, because he's the type of person you have to know in real life. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to hold a conversation with him like online or something. Like he's definitely a in-person conversation type person. Like, we didn't, even after we dated and stuff, we didn't talk that much on the phone. We were always more so in person.
I was like never a fan of online dating. I never really was interested in it. I actually didn't start even considering like DM, sliding in the DM or, creating an online profile until like the pandemic. I definitely was like more of a social butterfly, like to meet people when I'm out, like whether we're going to a sports game or a restaurant or a bar, lounge, whatever. Like I would always just meet people when I'm out. And that was always a social norm for me. I never actually met anybody on any type of an online platform. But once we like got into the pandemic, I felt like that's kind of when I got in a space of like, oh, let me try, getting online. And the first time that I did it, I met this guy and we started chatting for a couple of weeks and we ended up going on a date, and the one date led into another and another and another and another, and we ended up falling for each other. And so that was like the first experience that I actually had with it, and it was something that was an immediate attraction. But what was interesting was it was like a very mental attraction. Like we had a lot of like the same interests, the same books, the same movies.
When you're talking to someone online, you are forced to build more of a mental connection because you're not in the person's presence, so you can't really feel the energy, or there's no physical connection. So I do think that's a benefit of online dating if someone is going to choose to find their mate that way. When you're texting or through any type of communication, electronic communication, those are a lot of your thoughts, and you are able to maybe articulate a little better when you write out a conversation. So I think that's a benefit of online dating for sure. And that could even make the bond stronger when you meet the person.